he's kind of like the new stepdad. You know, I mean, think about it. Your mom's divorced and young guy, around the house, and you're used to your dad, making the rules, and something happens to him, and he has to go away for, something happens. Well, mom's got this new guy coming in, and you don't kind of like following his rules or doing what he says, and you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. Those kind of stories. So, is that part of could that be part of it? I'm going to share this over here real quick while I'm thinking about it. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out with me here. We talk a little college football and see what else is going on in the wild world here of college athletics. So let's just jump in here and keep doing what we do. I charged my phone up. It's about to go dead on me. Been on this thing a lot today. A lot of business, a lot of stuff going on. So we'll talk about that. Kyle Henderson does a YouTube Alabama show, and he kind of brought it up, talking about his granddad or his mom, being the stern figure in the house. And you knew when you went, to your grandparents' house, Mama was in charge of the house and granddaddy was charged of what happened outside. You're in the house, man. You don't fool around a whole lot. There's just some things you're not going to get away with. You're just going to get your tail busted. And it feels like to me, we've all seen Saban's practice, and he would go nuts. He's throwing his hat, and guys are running routes the wrong way, and he expected them to do things right. And he expected all the little things to be done right. And those attentions to detail are what he would always be going crazy about when they were up a lot in the game. So I think that this Deboer thing, when the new stepdad comes, the example I give earlier, he comes in and he don't want to be the mean guy right off the bat. Your mom still has to discipline you, and you don't like it because usually the dad was, and mom's been nice. Now mom's got to be tough on you, and the new guy around the house is, well, your mom got on to you there. We're going to town here. We'll get some ice cream or something. And I hadn't verbally heard Deboer at practice. I hadn't. But his demeanor is, he's not like Saban, and that's fine. I mean, he's his own person, and he's got to coach the team how he wants to see fit. But I think this period of time here that we're going to see for a while, these guys that's there were used to those butt chewings that they would get, and maybe once a day, or maybe it was just once a week. But now, back in the day, I'm sure from the McElroy and those guys, I'm sure they probably got it about every other day. So when you go from that to the guy that's, he probably hollers and gets on them some, but it's just not his style just to really get after them. And I think there's just something in their mind there, like, well, if he's not getting on us hard, we're used to being, really Nick holding his thumb on us and holding us accountable very if we just didn't even have our feet right taking off from the line, on the back pedal trail, he would just get all over a guy. And now, maybe Deboer, I don't know this, but maybe he comes and to him, hey, let's make sure we get our feet right there. And Saban's like, God dang it, you got to get it right the first time. I'm not standing out here showing you what to do. You're like a bunch of kids. I need to get a freaking coloring book and draw a picture for you. One of those, that kind of stuff. And everybody's just got their own style. So I think a lot of this that we're just seeing overall, the discipline type stuff, there's a different disciplinarian coaching the team now. And they're used to being held firm to what the standards were there at Bama. And the standard's still the same. I mean, Deboer's repeated it. He says those things, but maybe the guys just don't really feel it. They don't feel it in his voice and how he carries himself with them. He's just a different guy, man. He's from a different part of the world. You know, Nick grew up in hard times. His family was, you know, a decent middle class family, but just the era, man. He was born had been born in the early 50s. You know, that whole generation of people, there ain't no guys coaching that are, you know, like 70 years old anymore. That whole style of football that we played for, like in the 80s or 90s, those guys are about the same age as him. You know, they're in their 60s or 70s. So I think there's just it's different culture. And I've heard people say that, but I just wanted to really break it down for you and just maybe give you some food for thought of what I think it is. He's just like, maybe it's like your stepbrother. You know, y'all don't get along at first, like the movie with Bridges and Will, you know, and they wind up getting along and great. But there for a while, I mean, bro, they're like, you know, trying to bury the other one in the yard. And there's that kind of position of the team. Like, you know, Malachi's a captain, but, you know, Deboer's, you know, they had the team. And when his defensive coach calls him off that Vanderbilt game, he don't come off the field. That shows me that they're just not on the same page together. And I don't think any of these juniors or seniors, they're going to have it's just, I don't see it happening this year. I don't see them just kind of, you know, molding into what DeBoer's wanting to do and his demeanor and how he coaches. Now, this freshman class, you know, they'll be fine. And that style and what they're doing, it's not that he's not holding kids accountable. I don't know how he punished, you know, like Kendrick Law. We don't know how, you know, Kyle was punished. We don't know. So, and to end that, you know, if you're a fan, then you're a fan and you're going to watch them play every weekend. You're going to Roll Tide and you're going to support the team. And I've watched them since the early 80s, seeing all kind of bad stuff and terrible years. They're already about at the most wins, and I've seen years they win 5 or 6 games. I mean, they've already won 5. So that's just some food for thought. And I think that's kind of where I think they can answer a lot of the questions that people are feeling kind of a little bit of woe, you know, right now with what's going on with in Alabama. Hang on a second. Let me turn this